Hello guys, today I will be discussing DarkShield and the searching and masking of PDF files. Handling PDF files can be a bit of a challenge because of the complex nature of PDFs. To briefly discuss these challenges, I will present to you a PowerPoint. So there's two potential conflicts involved. One would be word length comparisons when you're trying to do replacements. So let's say you have an original value of John and you want to replace it, and you replace it with a value of Washington. As you can see, there's a difference in width of the two words because of the length or the character count. But going down, you'd see that John and Jake, there are no issues as far as overextending because they're the same character count. But on the other hand, what if there's a character width difference individually for the characters in a word? So this is the second conflict, character width comparison. If you look, we have two 5-letter words, Tammy and Lily. But as you can see, Tammy is almost twice the width of Lily. So this could also cause overlap of the surrounding words in the sentence that Tammy is replacing Lily with. And if you look below Billy and Lily, there is no significant difference in character width on these, so this would be not an issue. So how do we address these two concerns? To address the first concern, we must use the correct masking rules, ones that preserve the word length. So something like format preserving encryption would preserve the character length, the number of characters in a value, the uppercase and lowercase, special characters. Or we could do string manipulation functions or redaction. And that would replace the characters with maybe asterisks or some other character value. Then there's length preserving pseudonym replacement, and this would allow you to replace PII with equivalent length synthetic data. So if I had a John that was found in a PDF, it would be replaced with Adam, both for 4-character letters. So there's not going to be any issue in that concern. So moving on, the second challenge is to avoid the character width conflicts that would potentially happen. To make this point, we have Billy walked to school, and then if we replace Billy with Tammy, another 5-letter word, it still still causes overlap, bleeding onto walked to school. So to address this, we would have to shift the word walked and the following letters to the right. The pros to this approach is that we can attempt to address the issue of word overlap. The cons are that it would be a more taxing operation because we have to manipulate the surrounding words. And another issue is that this configuration is not a one-size-fits-all. PDF documents come in many different formats and styles, so what may work for some files may not work for others. It's a by case basis whether you'd want to use this file configuration option. To get started, I have a PDF that I will be searching and masking, and I will be looking at emails here. And to present the possibility of overlap, I will first do a dry run here of using an incorrect masking operation. So let's just do something that's just going to produce a very large replacement value, like a hashing function. This will most likely produce overlaps when applied. Okay, so I'll do a DarkShield job here expecting it to incorrectly replace the values, just for a demonstration first of all. just pairing my data class email with this masking rule. And this data class email is just going to be looking for any PII that fits the pattern of an email. So now I'm just going to point to my in folder here. Okay. And these are my file types that are supported. And I will point to the out folder. Okay, so at this point I'm going to run my job, and I'm expecting there to be overlap because I used a hashing function, which is not recommended for masking in PDFs. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and run my job. Okay, so this is the masked replacement value, and as you can see, the email ended up getting replaced with this hashing value instead. And hashing values are much larger than the original value, so of course it ended up overlapping on this column of names. So we don't want to use hashing functions when we're working with PDFs. So now let's try this job, but do it the correct way. So I'm going to add a format preserving encryption rule instead. So now I'm going to reassign my encryption to this email. And finish. Save the changes. Let's delete this file. Do a search and mask operation. Okay. So now if you look, the original value is replaced with a format preserved encryption value that preserved the special characters and also the character length. And as you can see, there is no overlap. Now that was to address the first issue of possible differences in word length between the original and replacement values. To address the issue of character replacement whiffs, it would be a simple file configuration option that I actually passed over at the first dry run. This is where we can do file type specific configurations. And as you can see here, this is the different file types that may have specific configurations for list file types. And I'll just indicate that I want to work with PDFs. And so this is just providing some additional instructions to DarkShield on how to handle PDF files if they end up searching and masking PDF files. So on this choice here, where we attempt a more seamless replacement of text, I'm going to mark true. And there we go. We now have PDF configurations provided for DarkShield, where we'll now attempt to do character shifting if it's needed. And if I actually had that issue, I would run this job and it would shift the values. But because there's so much width or so much spacing between these two columns in this PDF, it's not really a concern, so there's no reason to actually have this file-specific configuration option set. But depending on the use case, depending on the PDF files style, like maybe you may have PII in like free-floating text, in a some paragraph or something, then you may need to do the file configuration option that I showed to shift the characters. But it's not really necessary for files like this, and it also would increase the amount of time it takes to perform the searching and masking. So it's sort of based on a case-by-case basis. So just run the job again. It won't make any real noticeable difference here. Yes. So, if these words were right next to each other and it wasn't, given additional space because it's in columns, then, the character shifting may have been of use. But anyways, this is how we handle PDF files with DarkShield.